What's up, everyone? Welcome into Mikey's Boardroom. I'm Mikey.
I'm Krista.
And tonight we are doing a review for Magical Friends and How to Summon Them, which I believe is currently live on Kickstarter right now, if I timed this right. So we're going to talk about how it plays a little bit, and then just kind of talk about things that we liked, didn't like, and our overall thoughts on the game. And that's how we do it. So comment, like, subscribe, and let's jump into the game. The theme is that you are wizards, and
Wingardium Leviosa.
Exactly. These different wizards. You got really into it.
I channeled Ron. Did I hit that?
Ron.
Yeah.
Swanson.
Ron Weasley, you idiot. Swanson. I wish though. That's the better of the two.
That was nothing like Ron Swanson. He would never.
Bacon.
He would.
Whiskey and bacon.
Exactly. So you play as different wizards, and you are all meeting at the tavern for a party, but you all want to show off your magical prowess and be like, I have the most friends, and so you summon all these magical creatures to go to the tavern, and you want to fill out the tavern with your creatures so you can prove that you're the best wizard and the bangingest wizard at the party, as they like to say. So
if you were the best, you wouldn't have to prove it though.
That's true. These wizards have to prove it though. So that's the theme. How that works is you have a deck of cards, of monster cards. These are all different creatures that you can summon, and there's a window of 3 to 4 monsters depending on your player count, and you draft them. And when you draft the cards, you summon the creature to your house, and then you have to move them along the track to get them to that tavern. And so each monster card has how many monsters you can move, as well as the amount of spots they can move in the upper corner. And so then you can, you draft the monster, and you can move that many towards the cavern. I'm sorry, not the cavern, the tavern. You're not going to a cavern, you're going to a tavern. What? I'm going spelunking tomorrow. The different paths, there are 4 different paths that branch out, and they all meet at the tavern. There are different things that can happen on each path. So one path, you might be able to create catapults that will attack zones or launch your monsters farther towards the tavern. Another path, you have to roll a dice to see if it's gonna be a fast path or a slower path that takes more steps. Another one switches between benefits for good creatures versus benefits for evil creatures. And then another path does different things, but one of the things it does is rolls a dice, and you get special power-up cards. So basically my point is there's different paths, 4 different paths, and they're double-sided tiles, and they do different things depending on the side. And so there's a lot of variability in the map. So you're drafting those monsters from the cards, or not monsters, the magical creatures from the cards, adding them to like a tableau or whatever that you have, and you're using the movement on those cards to move your monsters down the 4 different paths. And the creatures that you summon also have different effects on them. And so you can use those effects on your turns. Those effects can kind of combine with different other monsters that you have to help you, get your monsters into the tavern. So that's sort of an overview of how the game works.
You explained it well.
Thank you. I felt like it was a struggle, but
I actually listened to it as well. So maybe you didn't get monotone.
Oh, good. I tried to fluctuate my voice like Adele.
I actually just pitchy. That was a joke.
Another thing in this game is the turn system. You have a little personal deck of cards from 1 to 11, I believe it is.
They really are little.
Yeah, they're the mini Euro
Is that how
cards.
it'll be in like the final thing? Or are they just small? Cause
no.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a prototype, but okay. I mean those are like, I don't know what they're called. I think they're called Euro cards or something. But like that's a card size is those little cards. Okay. But anyways, you get those little cards. Like Dune has them.
Yeah.
Dune has them. You get the little cards, and from 1 to 11, and everybody starts out playing those cards from their hand, and the higher the number, you're basically bidding to go first for the round. So the highest number goes first, and whoever has the first player token, they get to play that card down first, and then everybody else goes. So if you're trying to go first because there's maybe a monster you want, or your monster is really, or I keep saying monster, but I need to say magical creature.
Yes, magical. Just think of creatures great and small, and you'll remember. Magical
creature. So maybe your magical creature is really close to the tavern, and you need to get it in there before it gets slain. You like my use of the word slain. Or maybe there's a magical creature out on the board that you really want to draft first and you don't want somebody else to get it. Or maybe there's a magical creature out on the board that is going to help somebody else and you're like, I need to get that before it helps them.
Yes.
You try to go first. Those cards also have little movement bonuses and little other bonuses that help you on your turn as well. So sometimes it might benefit you to play a lower number to get the extra movement to help your magical creatures get to the tavern. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's an excellent overview of the game. Splice in a little B-roll as I say all that, and you're just going to get the point. You're going to get the point right quick. Okay, so let's talk about things that we liked first. Do you have anything that you want to say? Let me pull up my notes. Do you have anything that you want to say before I get going, or should I go first?
Yes. Actually, I liked how unique all the creatures are. Like, I feel like there was a lot of differences. Yeah. Like, I remembered them individually.
There was a lot of monsters, and I really like the system.
Which goes into a con, too, but... But it's also a pro. Like, I feel like there's a lot of
I made a face.
Variety.
I made a face when you first said it.
It's a con too.
No. I made a face because you said there's a lot of there's a, I forget the word you use, but I'm like, it's mermaid and Medusa. It's not like there's tons of
creatures, they can do. Yes, is what I mean. Like, there's their
tons,
abilities.
There's tons. There's over. Yeah. I think there's around 40, and there might go over 40. I don't know, but I know that in this prototype that we have, there's around 40, and so there's a lot of different magical creatures that you can summon.
Holding your jowls, magical creatures.
I keep going to call them monsters. They're not monsters. Does a Medusa look like a monster to you?
Not to a male, but to a female. Anyways, yes, yeah. I do like that they were all different, and even like their photos. Like, I feel like a lot of thought went into the art. Yeah. Like the unicorn, the unicorns got color. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if that's like permanent. But
I think that in the final version, everything will be much more color because there's a lot of black and white for us. But this is a prototype. Yeah.
Well, I like it. I just think it's cute. Like the unicorn is on its back. Yeah. Like in Narnia,
the art and the theme.
The horse kicks its legs open.
The art.
Narnia friends.
I was thinking more Harry Potter when the unicorn's like this as the guy drinks his blood.
I was thinking more Narnia where the horse, I forget his name, but the horse like Shasta, like to lay on its back and put its
Shasta's a drink.
No wait, Shasta was the boy. Shoot, I'm getting it mixed up. But anyways.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
That was a pro for me. Do you have a pro?
Yes, I like the system where you summon the monster, and the monster that you summon has the movement values on it, and you use those movements for all your monsters on the board. So like if I summon the Headless Horseman, I'm able to move 2 of my monsters 3 steps each.
That's a pro.
I just like that system. It's like trying to evaluate the effect of the card and the movement bonus it will give you and how you can utilize that movement bonus. I enjoyed that puzzle, and that was one of the highlights for me in this game, was trying to use that to get my monsters continuously moving forward where I wanted them to go.
It really didn't work out too well for you, though, because I think I won every time we played it.
You won every time we played it.
So, maybe your system is shite.
My goodness. I was
just speaking like an Irishman.
This game is ages 12 and up. Oh. So, potentially...
Shite means poop. Anyways.
Goodness.
I agree with that. I like that I didn't have to just use those movements for the monster I took out. It was like I could pick any monster I wanted, so then I could...
It was a good way. It was a good way to move all your different monsters in one. Like, it was just a good system. Like, it's just a good system. I like it.
I agree. I like that.
It's well done. That system works.
If they had not had that system, I don't know how much I would have liked this game.
Well, if they didn't have that system, who knows how this game would have played? Because that's like the core mechanic of moving your monsters forward, which is how you win.
Touche. I'll just shut up.
Just look off in space like you're bored. Anything else you want to say? Or shall I go?
You can go first.
Let me take a look because I have the brain of a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like the different abilities that the monsters give you, and
Isn't
I
that
like
what I said? How each of them have like a unique thing that they do, unique abilities.
Yeah, maybe this is a repeat of what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading my notes. I like trying to combo it together. I like trying to.
Yeah, you're weird like that.
I like trying to get things. I'm weird like that.
That was a joke. It took you a minute.
I like trying to combo different cards together and be like, because of this and this cards. And this I can do this. So I like.
There's not too much of that in this game though.
I do wish that only having 4 cards to choose from limits that a lot for me. I wish there was a more.
Like I said,
I wish there was like 8
there's
cards.
not a whole lot of that in this game. So, I don't really like card comboing. You know that, so
yeah, I do and I don't. I'm very particular.
You just
about
do.
It. But
just
when it
flat out do.
When I will have a con kind of about that in this game. But when it hits in this, it hits like really well. I really like when you get things to work together and the right cards come up and you're able to like move a bunch of your spots extra spaces and get some in the tavern. Like that feels really good in this game when it hits.
Yeah, I think when that hits is once you like you have an epiphany and you realize how they all connect, and then you know how to play all the creatures off of each other really well.
Well, maybe that's how it hit. Maybe that's how it works for you. But
that's how it works.
For me, I plan ahead, so I'm not like, holy crap, look what I stumbled into.
Then when it hits is when you realize how to make it all happen, make the magic happen with your magical friends.
Sure. Nice.
Yeah, I get that though, because like for like the first part of the game, it feels like you're just moving and picking random things.
The first few turns are a little bit like
jerky almost.
Yeah, like very kind of like nothing happens, and then things start rolling.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh, if I use this monster, then that helps that monster, and then I can take out your monster.
Which plays
creatures. Now you got me doing it. Creatures.
Magical creatures. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say? I have one more pro.
I have a pro. I super like the artwork.
Okay.
I really do. I like how it's like all rainbowy and cartoony. Mm-hmm. It's a very fairy tale and I like it.
The artwork's nice.
But I do think
Whoa.
That the artwork of like the map doesn't super well go with the art of the creatures.
Okay. They don't blend.
The
board artwork.
I feel like the unicorn does.
The board artwork looks extremely cartoon. Like it looks straight out of My Little Pony.
I know. I like it. I think it's cute.
Which is great. Like it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The creature artwork looks less friendly cartoony.
It looks more like
much more
hand-drawn
like it's good, but it's less like it's more like the Medusa looks a little bit scary, and like the Cthulhu looks like Cthulhu, except he is holding a bunch of beers.
But maybe that's the point, because like look,
though.
The good friends are actually cute and kind of like whimsy.
Yeah. But even like the centaur, who's like a good guy here, I don't look at the picture and think good guy.
Yeah, but he's smiling.
Must be good, yeah. Then.
But my point is maybe that's the point, is that they're supposed to look like creatures coming in to infiltrate.
Exactly. Infiltrate what?
This fairy tale land.
But that's not what's happening. You're summoning them to a tavern.
But how do you know? You know what really good actors do is they create a backstory that's not even in the script. Thank you. You can't argue with that, though.
You're so right. You are so right.
I know, I usually am. It's time for the fan. It's like 100 degrees out here.
It's summertime, baby.
Summertime!
Okay, I have one last pro. I like, and this pro is going to lead into a con, because it's a double-sided coin. Okay. I like the multiple paths, and I like that there's different things that happen on each path. It's not like 4 different paths where you roll a dice on all 4, and sometimes it's short, and sometimes it's long. I like that there's 4 unique paths that are different. I like that. Do you have anything to add before I tell you the con of that?
I don't, because it's kind of a con for me.
Okay. I think that there should be 1 less path. I think there should be 3 paths, because the 4 is just slightly too much, and it turns into 1 or 2 of them not really getting used very much, and the other one's getting used a lot. If there was 1 or 2 less, 2 less might be too little, but I think if there was 1 less, I think they could get rid of 1 path.
I feel like we didn't use this one.
The heaven and the hell path, we hardly used, and other than like I specifically sent creatures there to use it.
Yeah,
and it just felt like I wasted those creatures. I should have sent them on a different path. So I think if they got rid of that path, it would be a little bit more efficient. That being said, if they got rid of that path, it introduces so many other things that we're not even thinking of, like clog. All the other spaces will get more clogged.
Well, I was gonna say, but how many people can play this game? Because I feel 2 to 4. I feel like with even one more player, that path would be beneficial.
True, exactly.
And I also feel like, to be quite honest, you and I didn't really take the benefit of the hell side.
Yeah.
And kill the good creatures with our bad creatures.
That's true.
So perhaps we didn't
I think maybe
the other paths just seemed like a better option, so we didn't really use it.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. We didn't use it very much. Maybe in a 4-player game it would get used a lot more. Maybe 2 players that path should just be that like you just like don't use it or something. Yeah. I don't know. In our experience anyway. Yeah. But in my experience it was just like that path was kind of like useless to me. Yeah. And so it was like it just like why was it even there? It just kind of.
But I do think that it would become a problem if we played with another person not having an extra path.
Yeah, probably.
So maybe just...
You're probably right.
Make that a not 2-player
So maybe we
path.
don't know what we're talking about.
We don't. We have no right to be here.
Okay. Do you have any cons you want to say? I have one other small con and I have one main con.
I have a con.
Okay.
We just talked about that one. It goes with my pro of I liked how unique all the different creatures were. Mm-hmm. But it became a lot. Like, during the play, because not only did I have to remember all of my creatures' abilities, but I had to remember yours to make sure I didn't walk into a trap or something. And because there's so many creatures going at one time, it's like impossible.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot.
You get...
It made the play longer because I have to stop and go through all my cards and be like, what does yours do?
The upside is when the combos work together, it's awesome. Yeah. The downside is when the combos don't work together. This is one of my cons too. When the combos don't work together, it can lead to a lackluster turn, which is my main thing. Like where you just kind of like you summon it, you move, nothing really happens. You can't really do anything. Yeah. That's fine. That's a small con for me, but yes, it gets very overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Because like let me just read this effect. This is the Goblin Friend. Once per turn, the Goblin gains +1 movement if a small creature is on a path in front of her, and gains +1 movement if a big creature is on a path behind her, and loses -1 movement if a big creature is on a path in front of it. So you have to look where the Goblin creature is, look in front of it where the path it's going, and see if there's any small creatures, which are another pro. Small, big... Yeah. All the different types of monster, it is obvious from looking.
Yeah, so even the good and the bad, it's pretty obvious.
It's not hard. All the different creatures and flying versus non-flying, it's super easy to tell just from a glance.
Yeah, I agree.
But you still have to look, and you have to look on the path, and you have to look ahead and see what's like. So if you have, 6 different cards, and 4 of them have paragraphs like that, and you're trying to decide which one's a move, it just becomes a lot.
I started picking just the lower level monsters, just so
it just becomes a lot. Which leads into my big main con for this game, and that's... I want to preface the con by saying that this is a con for me and how I play games, like, currently, and I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the game. I think it's actually pretty well done, and I can definitely see the merit in it. I feel like this is a lighter game. It's not super heavy. I feel like it is slightly overcomplicated in the monster combos and the paths, and so that, like, we would not play this game, you and I, together. And I don't think that our kids are old enough to play this game with them. But I think that if our kids were like 8, 9 range, I think this would be a really good game that we could play with them. Because it's a little bit lighter, a little more family style game. But it slightly overcomplicates itself. I wish that this was age 12 plus that I feel like 9-year-olds can play. I wish this was like a 9+ game that 7-year-olds could play. I wish that they took out some of the monster variety and maybe just kind of...
I was going to suggest that is
like lessened the complexity in it.
Yeah.
Maybe simplified it a little bit, got rid of a path, just made it a little bit more like embrace the family style, because I feel like this is trying to bridge the gap of family style or like a family style game and a more complicated game. Am I wrong in that?
I don't really get that vibe.
The rules are very simple. There's nothing complicated in this game except for when you start getting into drafting all the different monsters or summoning all the different monsters and using their abilities. I feel like that's where the game gets really overcomplicated. And I feel like if that was a little like if that was simplified a little bit.
There you go. It's a big word. Good
Thank
job.
you. If that was simplified a little bit, I feel like they could get that age down a little bit. And that's really where for me personally, where this game would shine is if I could play it with our 7-year-old. That's where I would really like to see this game. So for me, that's my biggest con is that it's slightly too complicated for our family and it's just not exactly the type of game that you and I play. Like, it's just not that type of game.
I see where you're coming from. So and I see, like you said, I see the merit in it. I see, like, as it'd be nice if they simplified it so you could play it with your young kids. Mm-hmm. I see this more as, like, playing this, drinking beer, eating some nuts, and just hanging out.
For sure.
You know, just...
This is a game group game.
Yeah, I see this more as like hanging out game, not like a let's get together for game night, guys. Right. More like, hey, let's hang out and play a board game.
Exactly. This is for like a group of people who play board games, who won't be intimidated by having to combine all these different monster combos, magical creature combos. Won't be intimidated by that, but can also just kind of have fun and not really strategize because it's chaos. That's one of my other thoughts is that it's just chaos. Like this game it's chaotic, and if you're the type of person who needs fairness and needs,
I wouldn't say it's chaotic.
You don't think so? Just all these different creatures combining all the different and the catapults.
I know, it's weird for me to
you might be 3 steps away or 2 steps away, and your monster gets slain there, or you might be over here and you.
You sound sour from losing.
It's not a con for me. Like, I don't mind that it's chaotic, but it is chaotic. There's a lot of stuff.
I feel like there's a lot happening.
It's not balanced. Like I mean, it's not. We're not even teams like coming out of it. Like
because I'm better than you.
Sometimes you get the better hand, the upper hand, because of the monsters you have, and because you better make better choices. I don't know.
No, like I said, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think that's what they were going for. I think they were going for a game where you can hang out with your friends and play it, and it not be too difficult.
Yeah, I think that's...
I do think that it's a little... I do think the cards are like a little bit too much. I feel like that needs to be simplified. I feel like if they simplified the deck, cut down on the monsters, I feel like they'd have a better, smooth game.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's a lot. Like, imagine if there were 2 more people playing with us, having to remember what their creatures are doing too.
I mean, I don't think that to be clear, I didn't really struggle with.
Oh yeah, you did. You walked on my trap multiple times, and you're like, I forgot that was there.
But I think that's in the heart, like the spirit of the game. Like there's supposed to be chaos, so that you might get trapped or you might make a mistake here, might forget about this. So the chaos is
purposeful?
Yeah, like exactly. Like it's supposed to be fun. Like I made a mistake and I moved my character onto one of her creatures, which the ability was if you move to this creature, all the creatures that move to it are dead. And so I moved to it, not realizing it, and then she was like, "Oh, you're dead now." And so I was like, I can't take it back because that's in the spirit of the game. I can't be like, "Wait, never mind."
Then you did it again.
But then I did it again. But that's in the spirit of the game. So like it's supposed to be like it's not supposed to be.
So what you're saying is you're fixing your own problem. It's purposefully chaotic.
It's purposely chaotic, I think. And I think it does it well. Just for me in my situation, my biggest con is that it's too complicated for how I would like to play this game. I would like to play this game with our kids because it seems like a great, more family style game to me.
I totally see why you would want that. I totally get that.
But
I like I said, I just feel like their goal was like a hangout, chill.
Okay, well, I think that nails that. I think it nails that, to be honest.
Well, then that's what they were going for. It nailed it.
If you have a game group that plays heavier games, and then I think this could be a great one to start the night out where you play this first before you play something else.
I do think they need to simplify the deck. And my last con, which you said they're going to fix it. You said they'll fix it. So I'm just going to mention it, that I feel like the abilities are a little confusing. Like, you remember how it said, when any creature lands on here and then...
Right. To be clear, I said this is a prototype. So you have to forgive some of the wording.
Yeah.
But yes, some of
that just needs to be fixed.
Sometimes some of the wording in the rulebook or on the cards was a little ambiguous, but I'm trying. I don't judge a prototype on that because I hope that'll get
I just wanted to
ironed
mention
out.
it. I hope that gets fixed.
Yeah. I mean, a part of the rulebook was in. Oh wait, maybe that wasn't this one. I don't know. There was somebody that sent a prototype rules, and a section of it was in a different language. Still hadn't been translated, so I just copied it and put it into Google Translate. But yeah, so my point is, I try not to judge that side of things because like I think the people that made this are from Germany. I think.
Okay.
And
well, you
so,
speak German, so you should understand it.
Yeah, I took high school German. So I try not to judge any of the translation things because I just like once it's time to be made, I really.
All right, so I'm being told to shut up.
Yeah, so quiet.
Okay.
Just cut your yap.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you want to say about the game? I have one other
so.
thing I just want to say. Oh wait, no, I don't.
You always have something else to say.
My last thing to add is that mistakes will happen while you play this game. If we played this game, I can guarantee you that 100% of the time we play this game, I will make a mistake.
Well, yeah, but I won't.
Yes, you will because of the like the monster abilities. So like this goes into what you're saying about how it's more of like just like a casual kind of beer and pretzels kind of game. Like you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna forget that there was a big monster in front of you, and this guy could have taken an extra step where he shouldn't have taken that extra step because there was a big creature.
It's more of a like a ha game, not a gotcha.
Exactly,
game.
which is like in the spirit of the game. This should be like you make your move. Anytime you screw up, like you just have to live with your mistakes and eat it.
You got lots of monsters.
Like,
I mean,
exactly.
Sometimes I'd be happy when you would slay one of mine because it made it easier.
I don't have to worry about that.
I don't have to worry about that when it's gone.
I don't have to worry about that. So anything else you want to say before we score it? Okay, so let's give it a score. I'll score it first.
Do we score prototypes any differently since they're prototypes?
I just don't judge it based on components, and I don't judge it based on like translation.
Okay.
I judge it on gameplay.
Okay.
Because that's what people are paying for. They're paying for the game.
Okay.
So I would say that for me, well, let me run through our scoring system just in case people are watching this on the Kickstarter. A 5 is the best game in our collection. I will always want to play it. If you don't like it, and I think it's a 5, I will make you play it on a yearly basis. War of the Ring.
You still haven't made me play it for a second time.
A 4 is a game that I love. Really, really good. It's just not a 5. For some reason, it's not a 5, but 4s are games that I want to keep. I want to play. I always want to play it. If you hated a 4, depending on what it is, I might be able to let it go.
Part with it, maybe.
I might be able, because there are other 4s out there in the world. A 3 is a game that I like. It might be a game I want to keep. If it's a game I want to keep, I tend to rate it a 3.5. If it's a game that I'd be fine not playing it again, it's a 3. But 3s are games that I like. There's just, there's a lot of good games out there. Can't play them all. Or can't keep them all. A 2 is a game that is not for me. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not for me. And a 1 is a game where there's some aspect of it that is wrong with it. It's broken in some way.
Okay.
That's the rating system. So for me, this game is a solid 3. I like this game. If we owned this game and you liked it and wanted to play it, I would not really have a problem playing it. I might, depending on the night, I might suggest something else. But
let's watch Outlander.
Let's watch Pride and Prejudice. But in general, I like this game. I think it's fun. I definitely see the enjoyment in it, and I had fun playing it. It's just for how we play games. It's nothing that I'm like we need to keep playing.
Mm-hmm. I would as well give it a solid 3.
That's pretty good for you.
It's close to a 3.5.
That's pretty good for you.
Yeah, this is a really good game to literally break out when friends come over, and you won't have to explain anything. Yeah. Like it's just just start playing and you'll get it. Yeah. So to me, I feel like there's value in that because there are not a whole lot of games where you can do that. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. It's a 3, almost a 3.5.
Yeah. 3.5, yeah, exactly. I can see that because
I'd keep it around
because those games where you can break them out, they're slightly more complicated than the other games like the Ticket to Rides. But you can bust them out and explain them and get them going, and they're like chaotic enough that nobody really cares when they lose because it's just to see what happens.
So. And this is also I think easy enough to where if somebody new was playing it, they could slay you and feel really good about it. Yeah,
somebody new could just they could still win.
They could whip your butt.
Yeah, they can still win because there's so much going on and so much out of your control.
Yeah. So I feel like it's worth keeping in your cupboard for that reason. Yeah. But I don't know.
Agreed. So 3. You said 3.5 or 3?
I said 3, almost 3.5.
Okay. So that's a pretty good score for us, to be honest. We're usually kind
of
harsh.
When we first played this, I was like, man, I'm going to score this so low. And then as we played it more and more, I was like, okay.
When we first played it, I was like...
You played it wrong, right?
Because we left out one of the crucial 2-player rules. And my big thing was like, this does not feel like a 2-player game. Yeah. I feel like I can't comment on this as 2 players because it didn't... But I left out one of the key 2-player rules in which you get to summon like an extra monster. So it just did not feel right while we were playing the first time. But after that,
it got a lot better.
It balanced out. It was like, okay, this feels like a game. Yeah. This feels like a well-made game. But yeah, so
yeah, good
check it
artwork.
out. Yeah.
Good for friends. Good for chaos if you like anarchy.
Are you summing it up? That was so, like, you took the initiative. You're like, I'm ending this video.
It's like 1,000,000,000 degrees. I'm dying.
I was just surprised. I was like, what?
You like to talk. I wanted to shut you up before it started.
So check out the Kickstarter. I'll put the link down in the description. Other than that, check out our other videos. We do playthroughs and reviews mainly, but other stuff as well. Comment, like, subscribe. We'd like to engage. Let us know what you think of this game. Let us know if you are backing it. And other than that, go out there, grab a stick, go out, find a stick.
For Gotham.
What?
Because anarchy.
What? I was going to say... I looked at you because I realized I didn't say go show kindness. So go show kindness, and then go find a stick and pretend it's a wand and do some Harry Potter spells.
No, don't do that. If you're probably an adult watching this, don't do that.
Flipendo yourself a unicorn and then drink its blood.
No! We didn't peace out.
Let me get my notes out. They're on my phone this time.
Fancy.
Fancy would be a teleprompter. So we could read scripts.
Fancy would be like having a guy in a costume holding them up for you.
Why does he have to be in the costume?
Because you're a king. You just go up.
Lines from a monkey.
Exactly.